All right, going in strong to the third of 5 games. 5 minutes put on the clock. And a kickoff starts for the night. Cogtray and Goose throw it on down in the center field onto the blue side here. Back to orange, however, very quickly. Heads throwing in the pressure off the wall there. Cogtray catching the ball down to Vaca Flocka. He passes it. Vaca in the corner here, off the wall shot, trying to get a nice little good aerial. Tosses it down to Heads with a catches it with Flowery denying him. Cogtray brings it on over where Vaca gets a catch off the wall shot there. Getting a nice little triple defense from the Mayville team, however. Cogtray bumps it on up over into the corner where Flowery is ready to catch it with his team member here as Heads goes and bounces it off the wall. Bringing down Cogtray, sends it on back to orange team. Bouncing off the wall, throwing it on in. Vaca is getting ready as the setup goes. Moonless popping it on down, getting against the wall there. Heads goes and makes a nice play to bring it back to orange side. He tosses it on down with a dribble. Nice little back and forth. Just barely not making that goal. Oh my Che-Che, would you look at that? Wow, Vaca Flocka goes and almost denies Rubber, but didn't quite hit him. They get a bump contest from Heads on Rubber Goose with the ball, bumping him off the ball as well. Flowery goes with a nice little contesting from his own team member there as the two of them went back and forth. Cogtray throwing it on down here where Vaca Flocka pumps it on into the corner, but it doesn't quite make the shot. Boneless throwing it on down with Heads over here. He's going to go ahead and get a little bump back and forth, and he's going to go and tap it. Heads is making a nice little blow, and a uncho goes on the Boneless paint there, coming from Vaca Flocka, bringing it from downtown. The demo has spoken. Vaca Flocka tossing it off on the ricochet right there, pumping on down, trying to make that shot. But alas, he doesn't quite throw it on down. Cogtray in the corner here, getting a nice little center reset as Rubber Goose catches it, and Heads pumping it on back, pumping it onto the wall here. Vaca Flocka with the nice squish! The edge of the wall there! What an amazing play. Heads goes in the corner, pops it on out off the wall to center field where Vaca was right there with a nice little tap into the corner, bringing it on down. Wow, what an amazing play. What an amazing play for sure. Vaca Flocka throwing it on down, bringing it in. Cogtray in the corner, throwing it over to the goal where Heads almost makes a shot, just barely missing it. Oh my Che-Che, what a play, what a play, what a play. Rubber Goose is going with the ball, and Vaca takes it from him, throwing it into the goal. What an amazing play as well. Wow, shout out to Vaca Flocka here. He bumped it over Rubber Goose, who had a flip reset in the wrong direction to send it back on into the goal. Wow, here we see Vaca Flocka and Rubber Goose bringing it downtown as they started off the kickoff. Heads is throwing it up against the wall, getting a nice little bounce reshot, and he goes with a nice little play. Vaca Flocka right there, missing the ball as Flowery Chimp goes and takes it on home with Cogtray, but almost getting that shot, and Vaca Flocka making a nice play. The ricochet. Wow, there we saw Cogtray try to make that top goal, and Vaca Flocka bump it on back. And a tip of the hat to Flowery, who hit the ball in the wrong direction, throwing it on down. Cogtray and Boneless catching the ball on the kickoff here. Heads goes off the wall, throwing the ball back and forth. Flowery applying more pressure. Vaca Flocka with some boost, popping on up into the air. Cogtray goes, catching the ball, tapping it over. They get a nice little contestant bump back and forth. Heads goes, catches it, does a flip reset on the ball. Cogtray throws it on in, taps it back and forth, just barely not making those shots. Heads gets the uncho on the Flowery, bringing it home, and Cogtray and Heads are in the corner. Heads goes and taps it on down, pumping it back and forth, bringing it over into the corner here where Flowery goes ahead and gets the ball back over to blue side. Very nice, very nice. Flowery Chimp going on down here, tossing back and forth with Heads. Heads bumping it back over to Cogtray, who gets denied the shot by Flowery, just barely making that play. Rubber Goose bringing it back and forth where Heads and Cogtray in the goal here, tossing it over into the corner as Flowery tries to make a shot, but Vaca Flocka makes the save. Boneless bouncing it off the wall. Cogtray doing a flip reset with the ball over to orange side here. And Flowery missing the ball, and Cogtray and Heads securing the goal. What an amazing shot. Here we see Cogtray. He goes, bumps it over Flowery, who jumped in between Cogtray and the ball, and Heads goes and taps it back into the goal to reset up that line of a shot. Wow. All right, next kickoff with a minute left on the clock. Throwing it on down. Boneless goes and catches the ball in the corner. There's the minute mark. And Cogtray catching it over here into the corner, bumping it on down, tossing it back and forth. Heads goes, catches the ball into the corner, gets a reset over into the center field, passing it on over. Flowery goes and taps it to the blue side, who's in the corner with Heads. Cogtray brings it back in the corner here, resetting the ball back and forth in the teams. Heads going, catching the ball, throwing it back over to orange side. Here, Heads with the team, bumping it back and forth. Flowery has to make that recovery that Rubber Goose just wasn't able to secure. Cogtray going, tapping the ball, throwing it up against the wall here, trying to get a reset as Flowery goes, catches it, brings it against the wall where Heads is waiting to deny it, tossing it on back and forth. Boneless Paint is throwing it up and down. Cogtray's throwing it onto the ceiling. Heads goes back and forth. Cogtray and Vaca are throwing it back and forth to each other, and they go off on the wall shot here. Cogtray bounces off, gets bumped by the Flowery. The ball's in the air with the second timer are up as they have to keep it off of the ground. Throwing it on down to the ground. Montana takes the third match of the night. Very nice, very nice. And it looks like Maroon takes the win for the night.